Okay, so I'm just going to load the windows that I want into this upper level, the first floor. So I might go to the level 1 floor plan and then just go into the window tool and then load family, and I'm going to browse to the P drive, interior design, and this time I'm going to drag that Revit library folder over to the grey bar on the left to make a shortcut. If you don't have one there, you can do that. And now I can just click on that Revit library button to take me to that folder every time. And then in Windows, you'll see double hung double. Shall I just save there? Where have I saved it? Double hung double, there we are. Okay, so you can see there I've only set up one type deliberately so that you can have a go at making your own sizes. So I'm going to place this just by eye in the plan there, making sure my cursor is closer to the outside of the wall than the inside. So I can see my window. It's working pretty well, but actually it needs a bit of tidying up because oh no, that's okay, it's a property line, sorry. That's okay, I'll live with that. It does need some tidying up, but we'll leave it as is for now. And we can see it's got the important elements. It's got the mullion in the middle there and the sash panels showing. It's just that we've got a line that's extra, so that's fine. So obviously that's the first step, just getting the window into the building. But then we've got a photo of that facade, and I'll just load that up. So we should be able to use this to establish the sizes a little bit better. If this was a brick building, we could just, or if this had face bricks, we could just count the bricks. But it doesn't, so we've got to use another method. So I'm just going to show you a simple way. Using that photo, I'm going to go to the west elevation because of the way I've modelled the building. So I've got my facade on the left-hand side, which means I'll see it if I go to my west elevation. So just make sure yours is like that, or go to the elevation that you need. So I can see my facade there. And I'm going to set the, turn the shadows off. And I'm going to set the view to wireframe. And you'll see why in a moment. So now I'm just going to go to Insert and Image. And then find that file. So it's again on the P drive in Interior Design, 3D and Digital Presentations, and get Mona Vale. Go to large icons. Oops. I can see which one. This one. So exterior from Street 1. So this is just so you can see that you can insert images into any view, particularly views like elevations and sections. But notice that I haven't duplicated the view. So you might remember when I do this with plans, I'll generally duplicate the view, but I'm not going to do it with elevations, just because it creates issues when you do it too much with these views, because they're referenced essentially. I don't want references coming up everywhere, so I'm just going to insert this temporarily, and then I'll get rid of it. So I'm going to then just move it using the move button and snap to the corner of my building in the photo, and then snap onto the side of my wall that I've made. This is just revision on scaling, but I'll give you some time to try this in a minute. So I've got the left-hand side lined up. Now I can click I've still got the image selected, so I'm going to click Scale, and then I'm going to again snap to that left-hand edge of my wall, come over to the right and snap to the other side of my wall on the photo, and then come back and snap to the side of my building on the model. And you can see now that lines up pretty well. And I'm going to use the up and down arrow keys just to adjust the height there and try and get the awning that I've made to line up with where this perspective would project, so to be coming back to about there. Doesn't need to be perfect because you're not going to do as much with the upper level, and so those windows don't need to be quite as accurate, but still we want to get it as close as we can. So now I can, of course, drag that window into position. Now that seems very low. Maybe my awning is a bit low there actually, so this level 1 level is, actually the awning's pretty good, but the level 1 level's a bit too high. You told me last week that you had a lower ceiling height than that, I think. Yeah. It seemed a bit low to me, but this is too high, so maybe we'll say, for now, 3600 might be a good height for level 1. So I'll just go with that. And then you can see that the windows come down. So that tells you that the window is hosted by that level. And I'm going to then nudge it back up with the arrow key. Maybe we can bring this down further, so maybe 3200. If you have, it's getting a bit low, 400 between your floor and your ceiling, and that leaves you 2800. Maybe that'll work, but we'll have to see. So I'll do that for now, but you might need to bring that up later, so just be aware of that. And again, this window I'll nudge up a bit further, and then we can see that the sill height has wound up being 800 mil, and that sort of works. Do you know what the recommended sill height is these days? It's actually a metre. Yeah. So yeah, so try not, in older buildings you'll find these low sills, but these days you generally want to have higher sills, and they have all sorts of laws about safety when you've got children around as well. Well, I think there can be restrictions. You've got to have those things that stop them opening too much when they're above a certain height as well. Okay, so then I can see pretty well that the window lines up with the right-hand side. And then I'm just going to measure. I'm not even going to bother putting reference planes in here. I'm just going to measure on my photo across that width there. And we can see it's about 2100 wide. And I'll measure the height as well. Just by eye, so that seems to be about 1600. 2100. Yep. So I'm going to go to Edit Type with my window selected, duplicate, and make it 2100 by 1600 high. And then put those two values in, of course, down below. So then again, just moving the window across in that view, I can see it lines up pretty well now with the photo. And then I can even copy the window in that view. So just using the copy button up there. And again, I'm not going to be too fussy about this. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to line it up with the reference plane there, so I've got it. And so there we are. So I'm going to leave the photo there for the time being, just to help me work out some of my other heights when we get to do the roof. But then after that, you'd probably delete it. It'll just get in the way in that elevation. But going back to the 30 view, you can see the windows there much more proportion than they were before. So I'll give you a chance to try all that, and then have a look at the roof.